What's up guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we are checking out these 10 LED Discovery Plus Series multicolor RGBW LED rock lights fitting all year and model Wranglers. Now if you're in search of an affordable way to add some head-turning mods to your Wrangler, whether you're avidly going to Jeep shows or you just simply want your build to stand out, this set of lights is going to be a great kit to consider. Now while it's good for showing off your JL, they're also going to be really good for adding some visibility when getting in or while off-road at night if you don't only want additional style but also need some better function for your day-to-day life. This 10-piece option will leave all of the possibilities open to create a custom lighting setup on your rig and change it to whatever color or mode that you need to on the fly for instant style. Now each of these LEDs will have an angled design to help with a wider spread of light, which will increase the illumination of the lighting compared to other flatter choices. The fun part though is in the lighting itself, either controlled with the included remotes or from your Apple or Android smartphone with the app that's included. Now that's going to give you endless choices on how you want to display your lighting with preset and custom color features, lighting effects, adjustable brightness, and even a sound activated feature that will create different effects to the music you play. Now these will have a triple core LED construction with 18 lights per pod, or 18 LED chips per pod, and the LEDs will be long lasting with their efficient design, so you can enjoy these over a long period of time even with them being mounted up underneath the Jeep. Now the housings will also do a fantastic job of protecting the lighting inside with a solid ABS plastic housing being lightweight and tough enough to hold up to whatever they're going to see on the undercarriage, again, wheel well, or really wherever you mount these. Now the lens on the front will be polycarbonate plastic, so it's impact resistant and very clear for optimal light output. The housings will also be IP67 rated, so you can keep some peace of mind knowing that these are weather, water, sand, and dust proof, or really whatever proof, to keep the LEDs safe on the inside. Now it also comes with all of the hardware and the wiring in the kit in order to install. You're going to get a main wiring harness here that you will hook up to your power source, and this will come into this spread of wires. You'll have a lead for each light, so you'll have enough wire to mount these really wherever you'd like, again for that custom feel. You're also going to get some gaskets included in the kit. These will mount behind the lighting to create a solid fit on whatever surface that you are putting these lights on. Now this entire kit is going to come in at about $150 and will be one of the more affordable choices in the category, especially for a 10-piece kit. Now kits will range with what they include when it comes to the lighting and the actuation of the lights, but with this having double the amount of some kits, the angle construction, and the endless functions, both with the app and the remote, I definitely think that it's a solid pick if you're looking for a lot of lighting when it comes to your Jeep. Now install will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. It's not going to be too difficult, but I would recommend a little bit of experience with wiring. It's not completely plug and play. You will still have to do some minor wiring up at the top of this harness, and then of course find a place where you want to mount all of these lights. Now there is a decent amount of wires included in this kit, and the specific install will all depend on your setup and what you plan to do with these and where you plan to mount these. However, at this point we can head over to our shop and show you what we did step by step, so that is going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and jump into the install.
The tools you'll need for this project are a drill, a 1/16 drill bit, a 1/4-inch drive ratchet, a 10mm socket, a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, some wire strippers and crimpers, some side cutters, and you'll also need to source some cable management, some ring terminals, rubbing alcohol, and you'll also need the supplied zip ties. Hi everyone. Today we're installing a set of rock lights on our Wrangler, so let's get started. Now since this is a universal kit, your options for mounting and running the wires are basically your preference, whatever makes you work and comfortable with. So for our purposes today, we're just gonna mount our rock lights, at least for the rear. As you can see, we've got our tires and wheels removed, and we've got it on a set of jack stands, just to give us a little bit of extra room. So we're just going to mount the rear light right up at the top of our wheel liner here. And then what we'll do is we'll run the cable down here, we'll secure it to the actual fender liner itself, and then run it up along the frame rail to the front of the vehicle to the controller. Now, like I said, your options, you can do whatever you want as far as how you want to mount it. The kit does come with some screws like this that you can mount it to. And it also comes with a screw with a nut attached to it. So you can use that to mount it as well. Like I said, the choice is completely yours. So we're just going to use these self-tapper screws to go into the plastic for the wheel liner. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place this where we want to mount it, and then using a 1/16 drill bit, we're going to drill a couple of holes into the bottom of the wheel liner, and then we can go ahead and put our screws in and attach it. And we're going to put this just about in the center of the wheel liner, lined up with the center of the axle, and then using our 16-inch drill bit, we'll drill a couple of holes. Now with that done, we can go ahead and install our rubber pad underneath it, and that also helps secure the cable coming out the backside. So we'll put our screw through the light and through the foam pad. And then using a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, we'll go ahead and secure this to the bottom of the wheel liner. Now we'll go ahead and put our second screw in on the other side. Now we go ahead and untie our cable that's going to run to the front of the vehicle. Now obviously you're not going to want to leave your cable just hanging like this, so you could just drill a hole in the fender liner here and run your cable through there behind it and then run it down the rail. But since we're not going to have this as a permanent addition to our vehicle, we're just going to use these tie downs that you can buy at most hardware stores. Just make sure that you clean the wheel well real well. Maybe use some rubbing alcohol. Make sure that it's clean. And then we'll peel the paper backing off of this base. And we'll go ahead and stick it to the wheel liner. Press it in, make sure it sticks real good. And then we'll put another one here at the bottom. And then what you can do is just route your cable over the base using a small zip tie to feed it through. And then tighten it down. And we'll do the same thing for the bottom one here. And that'll keep it nice and secure and out of the way of any moving parts. Now we can go ahead and feed our cable in. Over the frame rail. And then we'll have to get underneath and pull that along the frame rail up towards the front. Now once you've got it fed over the frame rail, you just start feeding it through, making sure, of course, that it's not interfering with any other wires or hoses, and it's not near any extreme heat sources. Now once we've got that through, we can go ahead and install the rest of our lights, and then we'll worry about routing the wires once we're all installed. Now, like I said, this is a universal kit, so you can mount these wherever you want. You can mount it underneath the rocker panel here, or you could actually drill into your frame. Wherever you want to put these lights is up to you. Now, for our purposes today, we're just going to drill a couple of holes into the bottom of our side steps and put the lights in there. So again, we're going to place our light in the position where we want it. Drill a couple of 1/16 holes. And then we'll put our screw through our light and our pad. And again, using our number 2 Phillips, we'll go ahead and insert these into the holes that we just drilled. Now, the one thing I do want to mention, just as a note, is that when you mount these lights, you do want to make sure that the cable is actually facing towards the inside or the frame rails, just to make it cleaner install. Now again, go ahead and untie this, run it over the frame rail, and then we'll go ahead and, for our purposes anyway, since we're mounting this, all 3 of our center lights to the bottom of our side steps, you can go ahead and repeat this process for the other 2 lights. So now we'll run our cable over to the frame rail. And you can do the same thing here that we did on the wheel liner. Go ahead and use a couple of those cable bases, attach it to the bottom of the frame rail. That way it keeps them nice and secure and out of the way. All right, now we're on to the last light for this side. And we're going to do the same thing that we did for the rear. We're just going to mount it up here on the top of our wheel well. Only this time, what we're going to do is run the cable up towards the front through this pre-drilled hole from the factory, and then we'll run the cable back to meet up with the other wires. Now we go ahead and install our pad. Insert our first screw. And go ahead and get this attached. Okay, now we can untie our cable. And now we can feed it through this pre-drilled hole up here. Just to kind of keep it out of the way of everything else. And then what you can do is reach back behind wheel liner here and go ahead and pull the cable back along the top of the wheel well and down to the frame rail to meet up with the rest of the wires. So now that we've got it fed through, we just go ahead and finish pulling it through. And again, this is another one of those instances where you can put on one of those bases that we talked about earlier, just to hold it in place. Now we'll go ahead and route it along the frame rail. And have it meet up with the rest of the wires. All right, now that we've got all of our lights installed on one side here, we've gone ahead and zip tied all of our cables to the existing factory wiring harness. Now, of course, you can secure them however you want to. Like I said, we just secured ours by zip tying them to the existing wiring harness next to the frame. Now, you just want to make sure that when you secure your wires, make sure that it's not near any moving parts or any extreme heat sources. That being said, now that we've got them run, let's go ahead and install our controller harness. And for this, what we're going to do is just feed this down through next to the power brake booster, down to the bottom of the engine compartment there, and connect our wires to our lights that we already have installed. Once we do that, then we can go ahead and run our power lines, our positive and our negative, and also run our switch to the inside of the vehicle. So we're just going to feed this harness down next to the master cylinder and feed it down to the wires that we've already got run. All right, now as you can see, I've pulled this down a little bit farther than what we actually need, but that's just to give you a shot to show that, not that it makes a difference operationally, but just aesthetically, the wires for each side are split evenly across the line. So you can choose 5, it doesn't matter which because it's not side dependent in the controller, but just pick 5 of them for the side that we have installed and go ahead and hook them up. So that being said, we're going to use this set of 5 wires from the controller harness and just start plugging them in to our light wires. Now that we've got everything connected, we can go ahead and pull our harness back up into the engine compartment and get rid of some of this slack. Since we're still on this side of the vehicle, let's go ahead and run our switch inside the cabin so we can have access to that. Now, one of the easiest ways to do this is right next to the power booster for your brakes is an access grommet. All you have to do is reach in next to the power booster and you'll feel 2 tabs on this grommet. All you have to do is turn it counterclockwise and give it a pull. It might be a little snug, so it might take a little bit of effort, but once you get it twisted counterclockwise, you can go ahead and pull it straight out. Now with that out of the way, we can go ahead and feed our switch in through the hole. And now, once we've got that started, we can go ahead and hook up the rest of our wires and we'll retrieve the switch and secure it later. Now that our switch is in, we can go ahead and run our power wires. Now you can secure these and run these however you see fit. We're just going to run it behind the brackets here along the firewall over to the battery so that we can get it connected up. So we'll just feed our red and black wires through the bracket here to help secure it. Now we can go ahead and get those connected to our battery. All right, now we can go ahead and put a couple of ring connectors on the ends of our wires so we can connect our red wire to the positive battery and the black wire to a ground. So to do that, what we're going to do is use a pair of wire strippers and crimpers and take off about 1/4 of an inch or so off of each wire. Go ahead and twist the ends so that they don't fray when we insert them into our ring connectors. And then we'll just slide it into our ring connector and then use our crimper, crimp it in place. Do the same thing for the black wire. And now using a 10mm socket, we'll go ahead and disconnect this nut here on our positive terminal. And now we can connect our red wire to that. And tighten it back down. And we'll do the same thing for our negative terminal over here on the fender. Now let's go secure our switch. All right, now we can go ahead and reach in up underneath our dash, find our switch, and pull it through. Now you can mount this anywhere that you want to. For our purposes right now, we're just gonna mount it here on this knee pad. Now you will need to source some sort of adhesive in order to mount this, and also recommend that you use some sort of alcohol, either with a pad like what we've got, or some regular rubbing alcohol from the bottle in a clean cloth, and just go ahead and clean off the area where you're gonna mount that. Now we're gonna use some thin 3M double-sided tape here. We're just gonna pull off a little bit. Using our utility knife, go ahead and cut off a piece. Then we can attach it to the back of our switch. And once you've got it attached, go ahead and remove the backing material. And go ahead and press it into place where you want to mount it. Just give it a nice firm pressure and go ahead and stick it on. All right, now that we've got one side installed and we've got everything powered up, you can go ahead and install the lights on the other side. All right, now that our lights are installed, it's time to actually get them to actually work. And you have 3 different options to be able to operate your lights. You have a key fob, which is a basic operation. You can turn it on, you can activate sound, you can do flashing and strobes, and you can change colors. That's it. And then you have the wireless remote, where again, you can change colors, you can add music, flash, strobe, fade, and then you have the app on your phone. And the app on your phone is a lot more advanced than the other 2. So let's run through these real quick, give you an option of what you want to do, and you can go from there. So if you press the A button, that turns your lights on and off. If you press the B button is activated by sound. So it will automatically adjust based on what sound is coming through. C will change it to fade or strobe. And your D will actually change the color of the lights. And that takes care of all of the options for your key fob. Now the wireless remote, it also has an on-off switch. And you can change, on these first two buttons here, you can change the brightness level of the lights themselves. You also have a music option. And you have some preset buttons here. We can go red, green, blue, white, and then the different variations in between. Now you can also do the flash option. You can do a strobe option. You can do a fade. And you can do a smooth, which is a slower version of the fade. That being said, like I said, you can change all the different colors, intensities. Now let's take a look at what the app can do. Now with the app loaded on your phone, first thing you're going to want to do is click the three bars up there, and you're going to see an option to pair this up with your device. So you go ahead and select the device, and you'll see the chain link actually connected. Once you see that, then you know you're actually connected to the operational functions of the controller. And this button right here will turn the lights on or off. Now at that, you also have your color wheel here. So if you just drag that around, you can see that it changes the color of your lights. You also have your presets down below. Blue, purple, orange, another purple, yellow, and white. And then your classic colors as well. Now you can also do a style, which will change how the lights activate. So this one here is a 3-color crossfade, so it just fades in and out between 3 colors. You also have your 7-color, which covers all of them. The red. You also have your static colors. Now you also have the option of turning on your music. Now for the actual music to work, you have to have the songs downloaded to your device. It will not work with any of the streaming services. You also have the mic option, which, as you can see behind me, as I'm speaking, the lights are flashing based on my voice. You can also schedule the lights to come on at a specific time and repeat on a daily basis. So you have your schedule on, you have your schedule off. And that's basically how the app will work. You can also, in the devices here, you can control several different devices depending on how many you've got hooked up to your machine. But you can control each of them separately through this app. And that wraps up our review and install of the 10 LED Discovery Plus Series multicolor RGBW LED rock lights. These are a universal application, so some adaptation may be required. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Wrangler, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.